everyone, today we're looking at a car that seemingly divides people into two groups. It's a Rover, or actually, you know what, that's quite good. Of course, it's an MGZS. And more importantly than just being an MGZS, it's me and JayEmm's MGZS, which you have seen a couple of times on the channel already. In fact, after the Evora, it may well be the car that has featured the most times. Now, I'm not going to repeat all the history and the development and the pedigree of this car. Oh no, JayEmm has done a very good job of that. So why am I revisiting it? Well, I'd like to kind of talk about how I feel about the car, and also this is the last time that it will appear on the channel for us. Why? Because we've actually sold it. This will be the first time that I've ever sold a car. I've bought several, but I've never actually sold one. Well, that's a slight lie, I suppose. My first car I bought with a group of friends was a Mini Metro. And me and three friends bought it before any of us could drive. We were all too young. And we had it at my dad's place of work. This is a nursery, growing plants. And we drove this car around until it fell apart. And so that went to scrap. That's not really selling, but that was, got rid of. But this is the first time I'll have sold something. And I don't really know how I feel about it. I like this car. In fact, I like it a lot. But I don't love it. At least, I don't love it enough to want to keep it on my own. There's other cars and other things that I would like a lot more. So sadly, it's going to go. Which is really a shame because, to be honest, there's nothing actually wrong with it. It's a really good car. And it has saved me several times. When the 106's head gasket went, the MR2 was still awaiting parts to turn up so it could actually go back together again and get an MOT before it ended up looking a bit like a banana. This was my daily. And it performed absolutely flawlessly. I honestly cannot fault it. Maybe a little thirsty, but I really enjoyed driving around in it. And so, yeah, I'll be sad to see it go. It's got all the potential and all the makings of being a really good looking car. But to my eye, there's something just a little wrong with it, and I really can't put my finger on it. I don't think it's helped by the red and the black and the addition of this black racing stripe. And I think they look a lot better in blue. In fact, the blue ones are absolutely gorgeous. It might be the front grille and it might be the set of headlights. But something somewhere in it just doesn't quite match to my eye. It's got the lines and the shape of something quite aggressive. And I think it's the front, which is a bit like, hi! Which is a shame because it's so nearly brilliant. But it's not. It's also, especially this one with the stripe, the black spoiler, and the big exhaust, it's a little too boy racery. And there's nothing wrong with a bit of boy racery, but for me to keep it, it's a little too much. And of course, this is no ordinary ZS. Oh no. This is the ZS 180, which means it has the V6 in it, which means no K-series head gasket, unreliability, failure, explosion into steam problems. So far, this has actually been a remarkably good engine. My mechanic, who did the service on this and replaced the spark plugs, did say that replacing the back two is a massive pain. The engine has been shoehorned in here, and it is a tight fit. There is very little space to work around it. An awful lot of it has to come off to be able to do anything. But it does develop around 170, 175 brake, and it does give this car a 0 to 60 speed of 7 and a bit seconds, which, but it's not amazing, especially not by modern standards or supercar standards, but it's got a bit of poke and, well, I've certainly enjoyed it. Whether or not it can actually put that power down remains another matter, especially on, well, if it hasn't got brilliant tyres, then it's not going to do anything. It does look impressive though, opening up and seeing V6 stamped on the front of it. And I'd love to see a V6 in a car like this in a saloon or in a estate or anything that doesn't automatically look like it should have a V6. It's a bit sleeperish, even though it's not a sleeper at all. And of course, we still have the conical, oversized air filter wedged in against the radiator. Because hot air and it really helps. So when we picked this car up, me and JayEmm talked a lot about what we wanted to do to it, and this was our project track day car. And we were going to use it on track days, we're going to replace the seats, and we're going to do it all up and put fancy bits on it. So where have we got with that? We haven't. That's a shame, because I would have truly, truly loved to take this out on track, because that's basically what it screams. It's a track day car. The good news is the chap who has bought this off us is going to track it. In fact, that's why he's bought it. He's going to turn it into a proper track day car. His plans are to strip it down and possibly install the seats that we bought, which are sat over there somewhere. We have the seats, we just never got around to fitting them. So why didn't this wonderful plan ever happen? Well, partly that was my fault, because I started using it as a daily, so we couldn't take it out of service and actually do the work on it. Partly it was because we both got involved with other projects, like my pile of stuff that's behind us, and we've both just been quite busy. It's never really been that much of a priority. If one of us had said, oh, I've got a great idea, let's go and do something on the ZS, we might have done it, but we've never had that free time. There's always been, oh, today we're doing such and such, or we've got this coming, or these guys have entered this car. We've never had a free moment where we've been going, what should we do today? So it's a missed opportunity, I suppose. I am hoping that the new owner, once he's finished it, is going to let us have a go in it, because it'd be good to see what it's like, and it's so much fun to take it around the track. So that's our first failed project, I suppose. A track car which is, well, it works now. That's a good start. We did at least get the car so it was working and replaced the many issues it had when we bought it. It drives relatively nice now. And yeah, at least it's going to a half decent home, I suppose. But it hasn't really changed. There's nothing really for me to add at this point of stuff that you guys don't know about it. So what is the MGZS? Well, it's a lot of fun, and it's surprisingly practical as well. The boot, which still doesn't stay open. Yeah, we didn't fix this. We just we fixed the mechanical things that made a difference to the car's driving. Optional extras like the boot staying open, no, didn't touch that. The boot is pretty spacious. You could fit several decent-sized suitcases in here. In fact, you could put enough luggage for 4 people quite happily inside this car. I suppose that's what it was designed for, to take 4 people and their luggage. But it's quite nice seeing a car that has ample storage space. So it's something you could use and you can use on a day-to-day basis. It's comfortable in there, it's fairly spacious, but it's a bit of fun. These are basically I can only have one car, I don't have much money, and I want to have some fun. This is absolutely perfect. It's great. They don't cost much money. You can pick them up for like, well, this was 500 quid. You could pick up a good version for, let's say, £1.50, maybe a little more. But there's so much enjoyment from that. For value for money, that is fantastic. Servicing costs, well, they're a bit expensive. It is a V6 after all, and it is crammed into quite a small bonnet, making working on it a little more difficult than some other things. And the insurance, unfortunately, is quite high as well. These cars do have a bad reputation. It also falls into the higher tax bracket as well for old cars, which makes it a little more expensive to put it on the road. You're not going to have an awful amount of change from £1,000 by the time you've insured one of these and paid for it to be on the road. But that's fine, because you can buy the car for not much more. So, first thoughts getting back into the MG after a period of, well, about 6 months. The radio is missing. Now, I have a sneaking suspicion I know where the radio is. when we did our Scrappy's Little Sister event and drove up to Skye a few months ago, we went in the Civic. Now that had a very, very similar aftermarket radio. And I thought to myself, what are the chances to have bought 2 cars second hand and they have the same brand radio in them? Yeah, I think JayEmm's nicked it, hasn't he? So that means my entire journey now is going to be without radio or music. That's fine for the guy buying it. That's weight saving. That's fine. We started the stripping process for him. Cool. Now, the sound of this car is the main thing I can hear on these nice back roads. And you'll appreciate when it goes past, it does have quite a strange noise. But in here, it's beautiful. You put your foot down and immediately the car pulls itself forward and you get that lovely note. The kind of leaving early in the morning residential area, maybe not quite as popular, but for these kind of back roads, it's really quite pleasant. It doesn't become a drone, it just reminds you that you've got a V6 and it's fairly decent under the hood. Sitting in here, the upholstery, well, the driver's seat's a little tired, but for what basically is a Rover, it's actually handled the test of time quite well. These things are known as our Rovers, and the MG suffer from the same thing as having a fairly poor build quality, but this is all still fairly solid and more or less the way it was meant to be. And for that, I've got to be somewhat impressed. And I actually think this is a lovely place to be. The seats are quite comfortable. There are degrees of fiddling with them and setting them up to get yourself a little more comfortable. Nothing compared to a modern car where you have your lumbar support and everything, but all told, they're pretty decent. As I said earlier, the 0 to 60 speed of this is in the region of 7 and a bit seconds. But driving out on these back roads again, it feels very rapid. And especially rapid for a car of what it is. There is plenty of power there, and it seems to just roar away. Put your foot down and it really does absolutely lurch. And that's good, I like that. I like it when a car, you put your foot down and it goes. Trying to rein it back and hold it in is your biggest concern on a bit of straight like I'm on now. After we bought the car and we drove it home, I followed JayEmm back on the back roads back to where he lives. And this thing was quite happy keeping up and following the Evora. It played very nicely. And that is a huge credit to a car that gets an awful lot of stick. I mean, that's... keep up with an Evora. I know JayEmm wasn't really pushing it, but still, this thing followed spectacularly well, and the way this drives is amazing. It is without a doubt the best handling front-wheel drive car I have ever tried to drive. I know the Lotus Elan is meant to be better because that's meant to be the best handling front-wheel drive car ever, but this is just great. I really like the steering feel in this. The steering wheel isn't too small. I quite like a larger steering wheel. Most of the time it just goes where you want it to, which is quite an impressive thing. And these cars are known, and the people who like them do rate their handling abilities and how they will just follow the road. And on this, which isn't a brilliant road, it's not terrible, certainly by the standards we've got over in the UK at the moment, the ride's lovely. It's stiff enough to give you some sense of purpose and the car's not rolling everywhere. but also I'm not in fear that my back's going to break when I get out of it, or that I won't be able to stand again. It's a really, really nice midway between performance and comfort. It's just a really good all-rounder. Throttle response, it's good. It's no turbo, it's just V6 power. Foot down, instant noise, instant power. And it has that beautiful tone as it accelerates. It sounds brilliant. The kind of noise that makes you want to go faster, and that's dangerous. It's a dangerous car in that respect. This exhaust system on it is just absolutely brilliant. For just having a bit of fun around back roads. It sounds brilliant. And I can feel myself falling a bit more in love with it, and kind of a little bit more wishing that it wasn't going to go. I don't fully love it. There are other cars that I would like a lot more, and the looks that I get as I drive through this village, of the fruity exhaust notes and everybody looking, sometimes I would like to be just a little more inconspicuous, which is obviously why I bought a fire engine, because who does incognito like a fire engine with a V8 in it? I will miss it though. This is a really nice car. This is the perfect car that you have to do a road trip somewhere. There's plenty of space, it's comfortable, it theoretically has the mod cons if they work, like air conditioning and a radio. You realise that my standard of vehicle is very low when my mod con includes radio. It's just nice. Everything about it is just nice. And I suppose the standard ZS would finish at being just nice. Because it doesn't do that. It doesn't shift in a way that this does. Oh dear, no, I take it back. On rough roads, yeah, it's not quite as comfortable. It's quite stiff on the rough road. It's still comfortable, but it's still stiff. It does follow the road very much. Now, they're not particularly economical either. It's not abysmal, but you're looking high 20s, 29. That's roughly what you're looking for in the MPG figures. It's a bit better on a long run, but some people claim to get low to mid 30s, and personally I think they're talking rubbish. It's not that efficient. But for the noise and the power, it's a fair trade-off. For miles per mile, this definitely works. You go, yeah, I don't mind paying a little bit more to have that nice rumble and the nice pop. Or didn't do it, how disappointing. It does pop a little bit, especially when you drop down into first and moving around in town, it pops a little, which is very satisfying. I know that we've spent a fair bit of money bringing this back up to standard. It's had all new brakes all round, I think it's had new discs as well actually. Had a service, new spark plugs, and all your basic service items that you'd expect to happen. But for £525 I think we paid for it. This has been phenomenally good value for money. Phenomenally good. It's always been there. It's been a fantastic backup car. We've had some good fun with it. It's done some good trips. It's done an awful lot of mileage. And it's just not complained. If I had a bigger shed, I'd keep it. But when space is somewhat limited, especially when you have the two fire engines which do take up quite a lot of room, then sacrifices have to be made. It is good though. So, I'm starting a new system on how I rate cars. And it's not, would I have one? Because obviously, yes I would. I do own one of these at the moment, or kind of did. I suppose I still own it. He's not paid for it yet. But I'm going, if I was given one, would I keep it, or would I sell it for what it's worth? This I'd keep. I'd definitely keep this. And I can see myself at some point in the future maybe returning to this, or possibly the ZR. I do like the ZR in yellow. That is an attractive looking car. I can definitely see myself getting one of those. And so there we have it, guys, the final update in the MGZS saga. That is a bit disappointing, really, isn't it? We bought a car with all these plans and, like so many other people, never enacted the plans and then sold it as a going concern. It is a shame. We had such big dreams for this. And I really, really do hope that when our friend who's bought it gets it to be a track day car, I can go out and have a couple of laps in it and really enjoy it. Because that is my big regret, is never taking it on track. So I think this would be amazing. In fact, I am sure this would be absolutely amazing on track. Well, this is just my kind of sign off to the car, I suppose. This is my goodbye and thank you for your service. So, thank you guys for watching. What do you think about the ZS? Are you on the side of it's a rover? Or have you driven one and do you actually understand how good it is? But for now, I'm going to enjoy my last little bit in the ZS. So I'm going to say thank you guys for watching. I hope you're enjoying the mini-series so far. Please leave a comment, let me know what you think and if you're enjoying it and what else you'd like to see. So, see you later guys, and thanks for watching. I don't want it to go.